Hey, so this is going to be another vlog. I'm continuing to process the just this one path that I'm taking on the subjective idea of I'm calling it now shadow animals. Um, so basically, I saw it connecting with Jung's idea of the shadow, where like once you start seeing who you are, then there's a side of you who you're not that you're sort of neglecting, and that creates like on the void side of things, and this void is its own entity. And so I mean there's two ways always to look at how you integrate your shadow. So the one way is to look at the holistic way, and which is just, okay, this is my animal stack, this is the animal I'm doing the least, I got to put more energy into those, and like this is the holistic way. But then there's like the duality way, that the shadow way, the way that Jung looks at it as well, where you can look at, oh wait, there's another entity and I have to integrate this other entity with myself. So I think there are two valid ways to look at things, but for now, OP is just looking at the holistic way and not the duality way. And so the duality way, it connects to Jung, but that's not how I got here. And so that's why that's why it's interesting. I'm seeing it connect to a lot of things, even though like it came out of another process, but it's like I could have gotten there through a number of different processes to get to this point, which is interesting. So I mean, for me, that means there might be something here. Like the chances are pretty high. So I'm going to start sharing what I've been solving here. But I also wanted to go a little bit more on like the general idea of the subjective side. So I was processing how we sometimes see our own patterns, our self patterns, right? We see, and these self patterns, they might be delusional, like we might be wrong about our self patterns, or we might be right about our self patterns, right? And so what an objective typology can do is to help you see, okay, you might be delusional about these self patterns, right? But no matter what, an objective typology won't capture all of your self patterns. And so if you're having these self patterns that, like, after you've already said, okay, I'm not delusional about these are my self patterns, it's not fitting into this typology, don't throw away the self patterns. Okay. I think that's the biggest takeaway that I've had from this. It's like, okay, keep these self patterns. These self patterns are important. A typology might not be capturing them yet, or saying how they fit into this typology yet, or something like that. But these self patterns are valuable, and they will help you. They will help you. They will help you see yourself better and help you navigate the world better. So hold on to them. Okay, so let's jump into the shadow stack of your animals. So I started matching them for everyone, right? So this is my stack here, and so my shadow stack is this one, right? So I just sort of started taking them and I just brought them over. So you see the order is completely changed, okay? And a few of the things I've been looking at is, okay, some of them are, your stack and your shadow stack are both info. And so integrating it, I don't know what it means yet. I'm trying to see it on my subjective side and then sort of broadcast it widely. So I can talk about me personally, but I can't really talk about everyone yet until I start, the conversation and start actually getting feedback from people, how they're seeing this work for them. And also growth and fixed mindset, I think really will play into this based on how you relate to your shadow side. So this is just my hypothesis for now. I'm going to keep asking people about this, but so I'll talk about me at the end, but this is sort of just what I've been seeing. So both sides are info. Here there's a split, and you see that, it repeats itself because it's just half the board, right? It just repeats itself. So really what you're interested in is this one and then all of these, I guess, but based on where you're, whatever. And then you're having a missing activation, which means you're double activated on something twice, right? So for me, so you're going to have an interesting relationship to this. So I can talk about me subjectively, take this with a grain of salt, but this is me here, right? So in both stacks, I'm an IP. I can be the IP, right? Which is, and that's just because I am an IP. Like an EP can also have the same stack, but they won't be an EP in both stacks, right? But for me, I can be an IP in my animal stack and in my shadow animal stack, right? So that's something that allows me to connect to it easier in one way, but at the same time, the only way I can double activate my DI is through accessing both sides, right? And then I'm double activated on the DE on both sides. So yeah, I am an IP on both of them, but I'm also double activated on the FE on both of them. So that was one thing I was really starting to see on a subjective level where, oh yeah, I can go too far in on the DI, even though it's only single activated. I'm an IP in both, but at the same time, if I do open myself up, I can. I don't know. I'm still processing the subjective side, but like that was something interesting. Then the other thing I saw that I was info and energy on both stacks. So a good way for me to access my energy DOM side, my energy DOM void, would be through accessing my shadow animal stack, right? And getting bigger with that. And I really am seeing the shadow animal stack now as its own entity. I am seeing that it is its own thing and that it does exist within me and that it is a part of me that maybe I'm repressing or maybe that I want to be, right? So there is like some kind of demon state, but really it does create, what I'm seeing is it does create some kind of dichotomy within you, this shadow animal stack. Like there is this and there is this, and they're both there and they're both going back and forth between the two, right? And that was an interesting thing to see. Whereas like, okay, I can look at my animal stack just as an animal stack and just look at, okay, when am I doing my animals? When am I doing those? Or I can look at it as an entity and then my void as an entity and seeing me go back and forth between my stack and my void stack. And the other thing is, I don't know if this will help you type better or whatever, but a lot of the mistypes, I looked back at all of the mistypes I was seeing, and a lot of the mistypes animal stacks was this. I was seeing the other animal stack in my mistype. So so that was interesting for me to be like, oh, what was I actually seeing? I was seeing a subjective like shadow. How was I seeing that? What's going on? So I mean, I'm hoping this will help me untangle things personally for how I'm typing people, because yeah, like just for example, just whatever. I'm not going to bring up the, but yeah, like it was fascinating to me that I was getting their entire type wrong. Like I would get them a different type because I was seeing a shadow animal stack, which was interesting. Okay, so I do think there's something here. I might be completely delusional and full of it, but I'm going to keep investigating it. And I just wanted to share it with you now. Don't take this all with a grain of salt, please. And yeah, have a good one.